Kia ora koutou, no mai, haere mai, from the boardroom here at National Office Clubs New Zealand. Ko Barry Morrison toka ingoa, and with me in the room today is Lee Williams, driving things from behind the scenes. Thank you for joining this second webinar of the year, People and Culture, providing a positive culture and leadership for today's staff in a modern club. As usual, questions, if you can submit those via the chat function, and this webinar will be recorded and available on our website in a few days' time. So what is culture? And we will click there shortly. There we go. What is culture? That is it. A hard question to answer, really, but I can tell you that it stems from the top. So everybody that's joined this webinar will either be the club manager or the president of your club, and you are the leader of your organization. So an AI definition, so good old Microsoft Copilot, thank you, suggests that workplace culture is the shared values, beliefs, behaviors, and norms that shape how people in an organization think, act, and interact to get work done. So that's quite a long-winded explanation. I quite like further down it refined the answer to a more simpler way. Workplace culture is how work really gets done when no one is being told what to do. Leadership and creating a positive culture. The club manager, as we talked about before, or in smaller clubs, the president is the leader of the club's operation. And as such, the responsibility lies with you to create a positive workplace culture, the vibe. There is no single way to achieve this, as each team and work environment is different. But we have seen some common traits of a positive workplace culture, and they include staff that have input into what good looks like. The staff are empowered to take responsibility and own their roles. Staff turnover is minimal or non-existent, and customer service satisfaction, your club members, your guests, or their guests and affiliated visitors, is high. Understand your team. It is important to all leaders that you understand what motivates your team members and why they wanted to work for you in the first place. You'll have people on your payroll that seems like they've been there for an eternity, several lifetimes, and the club job is their primary source of income. For others, this might be their first job straight out of school, and others may be working their way through university. So there's a variety of reasons why people want to come and work for you at your club. Irrespective of that motivation, knowing and understanding your team will go a long way to helping you achieve and maintain a positive workplace culture. It's been said a couple of times already this afternoon, it starts with you. It starts at the top. As leaders, your attitudes and behaviors set the standards for your team. Do not ask them to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. And that includes cleaning the toilets. This begins from the moment you walk in each day. You set the tone, you set the standards and the behaviors that you want to see from your team in dealing with your customers, your members, their guests, and the wider community. What are your non-negotiables? Because after all, when it starts to go horribly wrong and you get member dissatisfaction at the customer service, who are they going to come to? That's right, you. Your team will model their behaviors and attitudes, on your example. Make sure it's a positive one. Engagement and inclusion helps retention. We know how expensive and challenging it is to recruit and train new staff members. So surely it's better to retain existing team members as long as they're performing to expectations. The smartest manager in the room isn't necessarily the most intelligent person in the room. The smartest manager will know that it's easier to achieve goals when the team is in sync, engaged in their role, and working together. Include your teams in your decision-making processes. Empower them to make on-the-spot decisions and encourage them to offer suggestions on how to improve the overall team performance and output. Hold regular staff meetings. Now, these don't have to be every week. At least every 2 months will be sufficient. And give everyone, including new staff, an opportunity to provide input at these meetings. Now, I'll just touch on that comment that I made about empowering them to make on-the-spot decisions. And I'll use the restaurant analogy. If you have a customer that has a steak not cooked to their liking, empower your team to solve that problem right there and then, rather than saying, I'll go get the duty manager for you. Then they have to traipse all over the club to find the duty manager. The duty manager gets a bit disgruntled at being interrupted from what they were doing. And then they come out and they are a bit gruff with the customer. It's actually made the problem worse. So give them the power to go, you know what? Sorry that your steak wasn't cooked to your liking. What would you like me to do? I can get that recooked for you right away. A complaint like that is an opportunity for your team to provide golden service and turn a negative into a positive. So empower your teams to have those decisions. Recognition and development is key to retaining staff, and retention of staff goes beyond their hourly pay rate, performance bonus, or free staff meals or discounts. Believe it or not, those types of tools, benefits, don't really matter to the employee. They want to feel valued. Simple gestures is acknowledging their birthdays. Maybe give them a paid day off or a cake, a birthday card from the club. Celebrating personal milestones. They've graduated. They've got a new grandchild or a child, or they've just bought their first home. Or noting their length of service to the club in a public forum. All of those are simple gestures. Don't cost a lot, but they go a long way to making your team members feel valued. And this all leads back to you knowing and understanding their individual motivation for joining your team. Get it right from the start. Like anything, you've got to have a good foundation to achieve success. Recruit well. That's not easy. I know. I've been there. Set up your new team member for success from day one from their employment. Once you've recruited the right candidate, get it right from day one. The paperwork is signed before they start, not on the day they start. The uniform is provided, and if they need access to any systems like your POS system, make sure the logins are set up on the day, before the day. And also let them, your team, know that there's a new member starting, and let the team know what that new member's name is. Have a clear and logical plan for the first 2 weeks of training and immersion into your processes, systems, health and safety, and workplace culture. Irrespective of their experience, if they've been in the industry for 10 plus years, or they're a newbie and this is day one of their working career, have a clear and logical plan for the first 2 weeks. You might expect an experienced staff member will know how to pour a beer, but they will not be familiar with your systems. So have that plan. And yes, accept the fact, and if there's any committee people on board today, accept the fact that there will be a slight increase in payroll expenses because you're carrying extra labour. But that investment in the short term will pay off in the long term. As the leader of your organisation, be there to meet them for their first shift, or at least ensure their line manager is, so the bar manager or the restaurant manager or the head cleaner, and introduce them to the existing team by name. Pair them with an experienced team member, preferably one with a positive outlook on life, and check in with them often to see how they're settling into their role and into the club. We've done all of that to get the right employee, and everything's been going well, but there will come a time that the employee will underperform. It's unavoidable. We are, after all, only human, and we cannot perform at optimum levels every minute of every working hour, no matter how good you think you are. We will have good days, we will have bad days. Managing these fluctuations can be the difference between an engaged and effective employee who feels valued and the opposite, who has the potential to disrupt the overall team performance. Taking action on continued underperformance is unavoidable as a leader. In many cases, it may simply require a conversation to see how they're feeling, what's going on that may be causing their underperformance, and reminding them of the expected standards, well, tongue-tied that, for the team. It is not advisable to employ people you have a personal connection with outside of work. If it can be avoided, that is. In smaller communities, we appreciate there will be people that you know that you employ. At some stage in your career, as we mentioned in the previous slide, you will have to correct an employee's underperformance, and this may include terminating them. That's never an easy process or decision, but a personal connection to that employee makes it that much harder. Act on underperformance as soon as possible. Make sure any corrective action taken is proportionate to the issue you are correcting, and be consistent in correcting all employees, irrespective of length of service. An employee that's been there for 10, 15 years needs to be corrected the same way as an employee that's been there for 6 months. The worst action as a leader you can take is no action. Follow the process to act in good faith and as a fair and reasonable employer to minimise the risk of a PG to your club, although that's not entirely avoidable, even if you've done it to the letter of the law. Pretty quick one this time. Thank you again for tuning in to this webinar on people and culture. Keep an eye on comms for upcoming webinars over the remainder of the year. Our resources area has a full suite of HR resources and tools. Our Governance Fundamentals course is recommended for all committee members and club management staff to ensure that you meet your obligations under the Employment Relations Act. Check our website for when the next session is in your region. A reminder that this webinar has been recorded and it will be available on our website in a few days. But for now, what questions have you got out there for people and culture? If you can just submit those through the chat, Lee will read them out and we will do our very best to give you a definitive answer. It's always this awkward silence time.
No questions.
No questions at the moment. Maybe give it a 30 seconds more. Well, do people just think, oh, should I ask it? Shouldn't I? There's no such thing as a dumb question, and you will be kicking yourself if you get off this webinar and go, I should have asked that question. So. Still no questions, Lee?
No questions.
I think we will call it on this webinar. Again, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It's good trading. Have a fantastic weekend. And we'll catch up with you very shortly. Bye for now.